Hello, my name is Jay, and welcome back to my Tech Vault. And today we're going to be talking about the Ryzen Threadrippers, and more in particularly the future of the Ryzen Threadripper. Because if you're unfamiliar, if you live under a rock, you haven't been paying much attention recently, there is a lot of leaks that I would say is about a 90% probability that we are actually going to end up seeing 16-core, 32-thread processors on AM4, which raises the question, especially because we haven't got any leaks about Threadripper, which usually we would, especially looking out from the first gen and second gen Threadripper, that we saw stuff around this time in the year. We've really got to raise the question of what is in the future for Threadripper. So in this video, rather than talking about rumors and stuff, I'm going to go into deep speculation about really where I think it's going, what I think is going to happen, and obviously my personal opinions on that. So first off, if you look at the rumors, you look at all the leaks that are going on, you clearly see that AMD is trying to push more and more cores onto AM4. Where I see this going is eventually we get to, maybe we'll have the original Ryzen series, the Ryzen, up to Ryzen 7. We may have the Threadripper line, but it is all on the same socket. What I'm saying is that you have something that, you have a low-end processor, and you have the ability to upgrade all the way through. While I don't think that chipsets, there may be a couple of issues with chipsets and overclocking and stuff, it may actually end up being a platform that any processor can run on, whether it's Threadripper or not. Now, if you're unfamiliar, 2020 is the year that AMD has specifically stated that they are going to stop the AM4 socket support and move on to a different socket. Now, what I see coming in 2020 is obviously we're going to have DDR5, which is what we'd expect around that time, especially if you look at AMD that's gone through and had a long period of using the same socket. I would assume at 2020 they switch over to AM5, and that would last for a couple more years too. So I think AMD realized that really worked well, so they may want to continue doing that, so that's what I think they will do. Also, building on top of that, the high-end ability to upgrade, especially up into Threadripper territory, would be great. I think that in the next generation we may have a bigger socket, or maybe a larger socket, but it would support all the way from low-end to the completely high-end desktop platform. And while the motherboards may, have a little difficulty, you won't be able to put like the B750 or A320 or 720 on a Ryzen Threadripper. I definitely think that the Threadripper may end up either being renamed to the Ryzen 9, or we may get another lineup of just Threadrippers, but it will still be on the same socket. Especially when you look at the fact that currently, as I said, there are no rumors suggesting that the Threadripper is going to be re-released. Especially when you look at it, is that the Ryzen 2000 or the Threadripper 2920X, this 14 or the 12 core processor, is definitely, from the looks of it currently, look like it's going to be outpaced by the next gen Ryzen 3000 processors. So it really, the Ryzen 7 stuff actually. So it really raises the question of if AMD is willing to jump the gun and jump their previous lineup so substantially that pretty much makes it irrelevant, or not really irrelevant, but just substantially at a disadvantage for something that was much more expensive. It really raises the question of where that's going to be going. So I definitely think that the X399 platform may end up not necessarily seeing the support it deserves. I think it has a lot of good options. It's got a lot of bandwidth. It's got a lot of things you can do with it. It's a high-end desktop platform. That's kind of what it's for. But I definitely see that once we move into AM5, I think that the motherboards may start coming with all of that bandwidth, or all those channels, all the ability, all those different options, but it may only be that the certain processor unlocks them. And then maybe the low-end motherboards, of course, while they can support the high-end stuff, they may not have all the bells and whistles to support the high-end stuff. I definitely think that that would be substantially better for AMD from the standpoint as that they could sell processors to anybody. They wouldn't have to be specifically selling to high-end top platform users. Obviously, the problem for that also would be for motherboard manufacturers, that the motherboard manufacturers would not necessarily be getting the most money. If someone had for example, me back here with my X370 1800X, and I wanted to upgrade to Threadripper instead of having to, buy a new motherboard, With this idea, you basically just be able to plop a new processor in there. Well, yeah, you may have a couple features disabled, but it would still allow you to upgrade and still take advantage of that. The next thing I also want to talk about is the ability, and one of those things that I should add on to about those extra features is that some motherboards, I think, even on AM5 or it may be AM4, but I think since there's a new socket around the corner that opens up a lot of opportunities for this. But I think that AM5 definitely has the ability to have multiple sets of RAM, maybe quad channel RAM, 8 RAM slots. I think that that would be substantially beneficial for AMD to allow for the high-end stuff, especially when it's all on one platform. It makes perfect sense that they could do that and of course sell a lot more processors because people would be much more willing to upgrade to something substantially higher, and also have the ability, of course, to have high-end and average-end desktop users be using the same platform. It would mean that we'd get better cooler support, we get a lot more better motherboards because companies would want to put the high-end stuff anywhere between there. You may get a lot better overclocking from the motherboards, better VRMs, things like that. So I think overall everyone will benefit except probably motherboard manufacturers because they won't get so many sales from upgrading users. But I think that also offers a great opportunity for people. If they want to spend the money and get a good motherboard, they can upgrade down the line on their CPU. And if a company and the ability to go through and upgrade years in the future, which is really what made AMD's Ryzen so popular with their AM4 socket. So that's a brief video of what I think Threadripper is going to. Honestly, it's interesting and it's what I would like to see. I personally think that it would be a lot more beneficial for people like me that have an 1800X, that don't want to go to Threadripper, that's been waiting for the whatever the 3850X processor to come out, so I can pop that in there and start using that. But for really, that's what we're waiting for, and I think that it would be such a great benefit for AMD and the consumers out there to go through and be able to use that and take advantage of the high-end and low-end desktop without too many barriers holding us back on upgrades that we have to do. Just be one less upgrade and more money we could spend on a processor. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions down below, and give the video a like if you enjoyed. But this is more of a just me talking video, really discussing what I personally think. So it's a good opinion. But I would really like to see that. That'd be super cool. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.